means a great deal to you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're lost in the sauce at that point. If you're like...
Powerful people in our society are disgusting, corrupt. The files. Hollywood is rampant with what seems like some type of organized ritual abuse, and the Iran war has sent so many people around the world into complete despair about what is going on. And so who better to talk about all this than my friend, Kurt Metzger. If you don't know Kurt Metzger, he is an absolute legend of the New York comedy scene. He's an absolutely hilarious stand-up comedian. He's appeared on Rogan multiple times. He's even won an Emmy for his writing. And now he's here to explain everything that's going on in the world. Why was Jeffrey Epstein so interested in eugenics? Is Jeffrey Epstein still alive? He also talks about Hollywood abuse and why he believes that so many young people are abused by Hollywood elites. He also talks about Freemasonry and the Nine and recurring occult numerology and connections between religions and secret societies. I'm telling you, this episode touches on literally everything. So if you are interested in conspiracy theories, predictive programming, psychology, geopolitics, the Epstein files, Hollywood abuse, and everything else you can imagine, well, this is the episode for you. So sit back, relax, and enjoy my conversation with Kurt Metzger. Welcome to camp.
You know, Professor Zhang's not a professor.
No, he's a high school teacher in Beijing.
Yeah, he told that to me.
You talked to him?
You did my show. It's
No
one
way.
of my highest derps with Curb, highest rated derps with Curbs. Very interesting guy.
He's fascinating, right?
Like, because I was going to be a judge and an astronaut, because I am.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, no, I just teach high school. I just put Professor Zhang on. I think it's hilarious. He is a teacher. He's not a professor.
But what is a professor, right? You know what I mean?
I don't, your degree, I'll tell you. It's pathetic watching nerds now. And when I say nerds, I don't mean you like stupid Spurg shit like that. That's not what I mean. I mean, like, you still, the pat on the head academia thing still means a great deal to you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're lost in the sauce at that point. If
Dude, this made me sad to hear like DL Hughley saying Joe Rogan has blood on his hands. Joe Rogan does, DL.
He said that? I didn't
DL used to be one of the smarter people talking on Bill Maher back in the day. Okay? And it's like talking to like, I don't know, it's like I can't name names of loved ones and people who are like, you're like, what the and they're looking at you. They're looking at me like that, I'm sure. But I'm like, no, that one black guy that was complaining at the airport about the Epstein files, the guy who was right.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was gay. He had long, gorgeous hair, so probably. It was Atlanta. How come nobody else is saying it? Just that motherfucker said it.
Yes. Back to Professor Zhang.
Yeah.
I thought there was an interesting thing because
Professor.
I did a little clip about him on Instagram where I was talking about his predictions, and I had so many people reach out to me being like, dude, he's a Chinese spy.
So? Oh, okay, here's my question. Why would I care? What, is he going to steal nuclear secrets from me? Oh, is he from China and he's telling me a bunch of shit that turns out to be true and his intentions are bad and telling me the truth? Good! Is anybody a idiot?
He's going to hack your phone, dude. He's going to see what you're Googling.
Yeah, China's who you got to worry about. China. The one that makes our viruses for us. Yo, dude, I can't. New York is the epicenter of the most smug, shit-lib, NATO-friendly. There's like a tard beam on New York, not unlike at the end of Ghostbusters, and because it's all rich kids that go that. It's not. Not all. That's a crazy way I just said that. It's all rich kids. It's not. But the people that are like going to be on all the things.
Yeah.
And they're all rich kids, and they go to Dalton and shit, right?
The people that move here. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just don't. And the level of like, you couldn't even give information to some of these. Some you can. Because they see it up close, and but how many kids you know? I'm saying kids, but I mean they're adults now. But in New York, I know 3 people. I live here 20 years, and I've met 3 people that each one told me they're the first child ever prescribed Prozac in America. 3 different people have laid claim to that in the time I lived in New York. Okay, and yes, they all look like Woody Allen, including the woman. Yes, because they send their kids to therapy like it's Catholic confession.
Yeah.
Look, you got to gaslight your kids about their up life somewhere, right?
Yeah. Aren't you sad you missed that? If you were born a little later, you would have got Prozac at like a young age.
Oh, great. And then I can only get my dick hard with like furry degeneration. That's why, what do you think the goon, you've been around a long time. I don't remember hearing about gooners until somewhat recently, do you?
No.
Yeah, so what is it? Oh, you're on school shooter pills and your dick don't fucking work right. So you got to do like when I used to do blow and jerk off. You get more depraved because you can't make anything happen. That's what I bet. And they beam those bright colors into you.
Yeah.
I saw the Kiwi Farms dude say, people get damn dumb, but I know there's some with those flashing like purple and something lights that he didn't say it this way, but like a sissy hypno effect, because a lot of online that type of shit. Yeah, no, of course, it was pioneered in casinos.
Wait, what thing specifically? Like just being on your phone?
Flashing lights in your face. You got to understand, they already made these in autism. You think they didn't cause that? They 100. Remember Temple Grandin, the lady who could talk to cows?
No,
she gave TED talks. Just if you look at her picture, she'll ring a bell. Have I been asleep for a second?
She could talk to cows?
She was autistic and it made her relate to cattle so she could help ranchers. She knew like they get spooked by his shadow.
No way.
I'm not familiar with the symptoms, all the symptoms.
I didn't know that was even
I'm paraphrasing it. God, trust me. Look, go to your local library.
Go to your local farm.
Go to your local library. Have a quick wank. Head home and look it up. This bitch right here. Well, I mean, excuse me, sir. I was looking for Temple Grandin. Oh, there. That note is her. Okay. Is a renowned autistic professor of animal science. It's a very interesting story, actually. It was like it was a while ago when it came out.
This is wild. Diagnosed as a child, utilized her unique ability to think in pictures to design humane low-stress ranch and slaughterhouse. A low-stress slaughterhouse.
Now, a lot of them can't think in pictures no more. You know that?
Yeah.
They aphantasia, it's called.
Mental aphantasia. Yeah, they can't picture.
Yeah, that hasn't been with us the whole time. They're putting shit in. Here's what you do when you hear about shit China does.
Yeah,
I heard China, the leaders steal organs so they can live longer. My friend Rob Schneider got to the bottom of that one with somebody on a podcast. Oh, really? China does that? You say, Rob? China? Do they not call it jerky and pizza there? Holy shit! So anything you heard that China did, your government did it 10 times worse. That's why all the taints are tiny with microplastics.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the taints are getting smaller and smaller every year.
That's what they say.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you have like one of the classic.
I'll have classic.
Like an 80s taint. It's beautiful. It's like a landing
I didn't show
strip.
it to Mark. He sensed my taint.
Yeah, no, I can just feel it just based on the way
The
you're
taint
sitting.
print I leave here will be studied.
It's like JFK.
It'll be covered up by the Smithsonian.
Exactly.
Giants walk this earth. Look at this taint.
Exactly. Unlike me, I got a little taint.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. It's all the microplastics and all the blue lights.
They're like 6-pack rings, and your taint's like a baby turtle. It constricts it.
Exactly.
I don't remember what I was talking. I know it's my favorite subject, but I don't know how I got it. But okay, so Temple Grandin, in the TED Talk from years ago, was talking about thinking like a cow, and a very smart person. It's not, it's not like a mentally challenged person. It's a very smart person who has a filtering disability, which is what it is. It's not like being a psychopath where you don't have feelings. You want to connect with people, but you have trouble because it's filtered through like a faulty something. That's really what I asked somebody about this a long time ago. My friend Scott Rouse, the body language expert who watches, he's one of the better ones, I think. Very good guy. Anyway, he was explaining, because, you'll hear about people that suck and you're like, come on, I think he's autistic. I'm like, what is that? Just a psychopath?
Yeah.
It's not. It is not. So these are people who want to connect but can't. Now, if you know about the Jason Project and the sons and daughters of rich people, they send their kids into a real creepy ass program. Let's just say Montessori kind of shit, and to make it sound nice. But Paris Hilton went to a goddamn camp. I think Chet Hayes did too, right?
What?
Yeah, the camp they went to, the abuse camps. When you're bad and your parents send you a camp.
No way.
Paris Hilton talks about it. Paris Hilton does everything except reveal the whole truth, but has definitely talked about it. Yes.
No way.
Oh yeah, they got hunted through the fucking woods. Them girls.
What? It's like a scared straight situation.
It's scared into towing the line and.
So this is alleged she suffered severe physical, emotional, sexual abuse while
in
attending
Utah of all places.
treatment facility For troubled teens in the late 90s at the...
Yeah, she's a Hilton. That's her trouble. So she comes from a up Satan family that has like a black obsidian throne beneath one of their main hotels. Some shit that is beyond what you could imagine.
As a teenager, she sent to 4 different facilities where she claims she was subjected to constant humiliation, forced medication, violent treatment, and solitary confinement. Damn!
That's to gaslight your kids so they don't remember the shit you had done to them or you did. Monarch, MK Monarch, that's real. It's not fake, it's real. If you see someone talk about it and say the government doesn't do it, they're lying. I don't know how you could be that stupid, frankly. I maybe just a lie. I don't know how you could know about MK Ultra. And then I can't remember the guy's name or I'd trash his shit out of him, but Julian Dory had him on. And he was talking about Monarch. They don't do that anymore. It was like a young guy, like, oh, shut up. You're
It's
doing
just
it to me
different.
now, you fucking queef. So how do they get people? I need people to be a secondary psychopath or a sociopath, right? Where I'm a very successful psychopath. I need my kids to be strong. I believe in eugenics deep in my heart, like all these rich do, right? All these Dalton School people deep in their heart believe in cattle, humans, and
Yeah. I mean, Epstein was obsessed with the eugenics.
Of course, why wouldn't he be? He's got an egg-shaped cock. You tell me. I mean, there's something about these science freaks with their big plans. They always got a weird dick.
Yeah. I mean, didn't Hitler have a micropenis? As people say.
That's some kind of lie. I mean, don't get me wrong. He had other issues that were worse than his penis size. I'll tell you that much. A lot of people focus. I heard his dick sucked, but there's even worse things about it.
No, come on. I heard the dick is like, that's crazy.
I mean, that's why I stopped liking him was the dick.
It's a bridge too far.
No, I think he was a fucking moonchild. I really do. I think he was one of them kids that they think of a satanic version of Baby Mozart where they play Mozart in the womb. Remember that was a fad?
Yeah.
Well, that's hand-me-down occult shit. That's trying to get a spirit into the baby. You take him out to like Red Rocks. Not Hitler didn't go to Red Rocks. But you go to a high place where the veil is thinner and you surround the woman with all kinds of altars and goofy shit. And you're trying to call the thing into the baby. Yeah. A homunculus, which is a little man mapped out on your brain controlling you.
Wow.
A golem, Golem.
Yeah, of course.
It's a person, right? It's not a Clay Frankens. The clay, get the joke in Kabbalah. The Golem of Prague is a guy made of clay. Some greasy bohunk that they view as not a human, a goy. You understand?
No.
Yeah, that's what it really is. Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Well, it's mind control. It's a very old art. It goes back way before anything with, Kabbalah supposedly comes from Atlantis itself. Like, it's not even like, because all of them, your Mormons are into it because it's a Freemason knockoff hideout for witches.
Okay.
You know that, right?
No, I've never heard that.
They have a left-hand path. Get J.R. Sweet's book. I recommend it everywhere I go. J.R. Sweet was Mormon monarch.
I've heard that there's like crossover with like Mormonism and Freemasonry. People say that Joseph Smith was like connected to Freemasonry, yada yada.
Aaron from the Growing Up Scientology channel told me that the Nation of Islam contracts Scientology to their people. Like they use Scientology.
Really?
Yeah, these are all dark magicians trading their little tricky tricks. That's what they are. They work together.
Yeah.
Steve Bannon's a dark magician. That is what he is. I don't mean that in like a metaphorical sense. I mean, literally, that's what the guy is. He helped make QAnon with Epstein. They're dungeon masters. Get it? World of pretend, and then what do? And I give you two choices all the time. You get a little dialectic, right?
Yeah.
That's what he is.
I mean, where does Steve Bannon learn this?
Blavatsky shit. He was in the Navy. It's in the book by Title Bound, recommended to me by Dr. Heather Lear, which was one of my best episodes, I would say, Dr. Heather Lear. Because I'm a bad interviewer, like I run my mouth too much. But Heather Lear had all this killer info.
Yeah.
And you probably had Neil on, right? Neil from Gnostic Informant.
It would be a great guest.
Yo, he on my one with him, the last one, he showed me the old Disney pentagram cartoons for kids.
Is that available?
Yeah, it's on my thing.
What is that?
Go on Dirt with Curb. DERP.
Check out the merch too. You got broad shoulders, dude. I don't know if people tell you that.
Yeah.
You lift?
I did, and I hurt myself. I hurt my shoulder, so I haven't worked out my body in at least a year and a half because my shoulder hurts. I can't work out like my belly, obviously. Better just to run my mouth and drink.
I'm not gonna stop eating
So I
shit.
gotta heal this up.
Yeah, it's the only way.
Dude, I always get like real gung ho and working out or doing something. Yeah, I get obsessive.
Yeah.
Like this AI problem I've developed of making the greatest
sitcom. It's critically acclaimed.
First of all, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
We just play one of these Epsteins. Okay. No, well, go to my channel for the pilot. The Bill Gates one is only 1 minute long, so that's a very good one.
That one's fantastic.
Yeah, let's beep an Epstein. Elon Sperm guy, I say let's go with, because that's a fine one. That just went up. That just premiered. And then Jangle and Jingle was a fine production as well. Yeah. Darius Ben 08.
This is unreal.
It's Derp with Kerp 33. You're welcome for my service.
How long
on live.
How long does it take you to make one of these?
Few days.
The Epsteins.
Oh, the Epsteins, depending on that one got way out of hand. They're supposed to be like a minute long, and that one's like 3 minutes. It turns into like a thriller movie.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, this is what got me struck this video when I posted it and tried to just go past all that. It's 108. It's 1 hour and 8 minutes in roughly. Where Neil, go past that. Don't. It's a good song. All right, go back a little bit. Go back a little bit. Okay, now make that big screen. He brought this to my attention. I had never heard of this.
Known as the Pythagoreans.
This is nice learning.
They used to meet in secret to discuss their mathematical discoveries. Only members were allowed to attend. They had a secret emblem, the pentagram. Let's see what the topic is for today.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Holy!
It was our old friend Pythagoras who discovered that the pentagram was full of mathemagic.
Mathemagic.
The two shorter lines combined exactly equal the third. And this line shows the magic proportions of the famous golden section. The second and third lines exactly equal the fourth. Once again, we have the golden section.
The golden ratio.
But this is only the beginning. Hidden within the pentagram is a secret for creating a golden rectangle, which the Greeks admired for its beautiful proportions and magic qualities.
Oh, like a boy's
The
ass.
star contains the golden rectangle many times over.
This is on Disney, dude.
Oh, the Pentagon. Well, that's the Pentagon of America, isn't it? A resonant structure of a kind, isn't it? Yeah, this is a devil fucking country full of scumbags.
Does it keep going?
The music's what makes it good.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. You gotta add that.
So okay.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, me neither. He showed it to me. Neil did.
I mean, wasn't Disney a high-ranking Freemason?
And also, that's the Walmart logo.
Oh, he is way more than that.
I mean,
way more. You get, put on Tracy Twyman, Minnie's Moose. The Secret of Minnie's Moose on YouTube. The Secret, and moose is spelled like chocolate mousse.
This one here, do you think that'll get us there?
Maybe. Let's go. My fucking thing's talking. Okay, wait.
Getting views up.
This is it's not really the right one, but there's the real one. Now look at that's from what's a Roman Polanski movie with the devil baby?
Rosemary's Baby.
So that woman's name was Minnie, and she gave her a moose that she kept calling a mouse to drug her. You got bit by a mouse, that. So it's all a cold shit. This chick has the best Baphomet research I ever heard of.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And the best Templar research I ever heard of.
Tracy Twyman. I need to check
Never
this
heard
out.
of her until a couple years ago. Or not even a couple years ago. Not even a year ago. But the thing of switching mouse and moose and doing those little word games.
Yeah.
Little Alice in Wonderland kind of wordplay. That's Twilight language.
Yeah.
That's not her saying it. I'm telling you this is from other shit, but that's what she talks about in here. So it's like little switching words around. Shit you might do as a joke or something, but you can do hypnotic induction. People NLP. You know NLP?
Yeah, neuro-linguistic programming.
That's what the Twilight language is. It goes back to like Hindu and Buddhist. It's all programming. It's all programming. That's why the Nazis love fucking, Tibetan Buddhism so much.
Interesting. Wow.
As does the CIA.
That is wild.
Because I don't know if you know, they weren't better than China, the government of Tibet, when they were remember Beastie Boys gave it, they don't never bring up Tibet, right? You haven't heard about it, have you? Tibet? Oh boy, it was a big deal for a while.
Yeah, like all through the 90s. Free Tibet.
Yeah, until the CIA was had to be concerned with something else, or we were having better relations with China, whatever the fuck lie, right?
Yeah.
And then
that shit got squashed.
About the Uyghurs, not Uyghurs, the Uyghurs. the Chinese mistreated concentration camp Muslims. Remember all the right wing care? Vivek Pastrami was very concerned.
Yeah, that went away real quick.
Well, I mean, you kind of look like a jerk off complaining about a concentration camp with not nearly as many Muslims in it as Gaza, who's being treated way better than Gazans.
Yeah.
When you compare the two, it's kind of hard. So they wisely decided not to harp on it anymore, I bet. If I had to bet, someone like me would point it out, and I'm not the only person that would point out what the fuck are you talking about because Gaza's a concentration camp.
Right.
You know, they're not completely stupid, but I mean, they are pretty stupid. It's just they're under control. They're stupid as in they fucked something they shouldn't have fucked, and now they're owned. All these assholes, all of them.
On the Disney thing, what is the name of there's a club in Disney.
Club 33.
It's the 33 Club, right?
That's
it's
the
like
same street number as that lady, the lesbian good who was shot by the ICE masked agent.
No way.
You know, the guy Pretty was shot. He was armed. Which, by the way, you're allowed to be armed at a thing.
Yeah.
Anybody defending that masked police shit, you're a fucking idiot. I mean, I don't know how. On the face of it, everyone should have been like, that's the end of America.
Yeah, I mean, it seems
The cops
crazy.
can't wear a mask, you fucking morons.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, this is an ultra-exclusive private membership club located in New Orleans Square at Disneyland. It's Club 33, founded by Walt Disney. A members-only dining lounge with access. It's reportedly over 30,000 in initiation with annual dues and features a long wait list.
Now, if Sean Atwood talked to Anya, I think it's Anya Epstein. I think she goes by name Anya Epstein, but I could be wrong, but she's Epstein's niece, she claims. I believe her, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because way before those files came out, she was saying they all worship Baal.
Wow.
She also said Walt Disney's real name is Artur Bieke, B-I-C-K-E. Minnie was his sister that he used to pimp out and fuck because probably some kind of Frankist scum fucking... like, he hated the Jews. No, he didn't. Big Kabbalah guy.
Interesting.
Right? Anytime 33 comes out with this many times, that's their secret club gang sign they're throwing up. Look at the Masonic checkerboard. Now, what does that represent? Duality. So you get two parties. You know how everything is not new? Well, except gender, that's limitless somehow. But the thing that everything else is binary, except the one binary thing, which would be gender.
Yeah.
The only thing that is binary.
I want to know more weird Hollywood shit because you've been in the entertainment industry for a long time.
I'll tell you what
you're
Taylor
around
Negron told me. Oh,
a lot of Hollywood types.
Yeah, but not as many as you think. But Taylor Negron, who I love, that guy, miss that guy. He was great. He used to do Race Wars with me and Sherrod. You know who that is? But Taylor Negron, just so you know who it is. He's in a million things.
You said you and Sherrod Small?
You know, when on our old podcast, Taylor would come on and tell us fucking crazy stories. This guy, he's in a million movies.
I want to know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Where's he at now?
Heaven?
No, he
know.
he passed away?
Yeah, he had brain cancer.
Damn. R.I.P.
Yeah, guy was fucking the most interesting man in the world. He really was. And so anyway, he's the one who first told me a story about Mia Farrow and Ronan Farrow.
Take me through everything.
It's like an old story.
And explain it to the people that don't know who these people are.
Do you know who Mia Farrow is?
Okay, I know who Mia Farrow is.
I mean, did you forget about Ronan Farrow, the crusading Boy Me Too advocate who like...
Catch and Kill. Well, I've read the book.
Yeah, and then he did a special about it. This made me laugh my ass off. Ronan Farrow, when Trump first got elected, he's like, the government has spyware they can use to spy on Americans. Good work, Boy Wonder. You're a real whirly kid. Who's that whirly kid? That fucking fake ass shit?
Wait, which one?
The one with the Somali fraud?
Oh, Shirley.
Oh, yeah, not whirly. Sure, yeah. Mormon boy, front virgin only, I'm guessing. He's a front virgin, guys. That's the thing, too.
Yeah.
That fucking fake ass construct, made up fucking not a journalist kid. That's a fucking Mormon. First of all, Mormons don't fucking trust him. That's number one. Mormons are born glowies. That's a fact. The FBI and the CIA are lousy with Mormons.
The CIA does love Mormons.
So, well, they don't drink, right?
They don't drink. They speak other
They
languages.
obey dumb shit. Like, they can believe any moronic thing and believe it and obey, right? With a good attitude, right?
But that's a lot of
They're cool at child trafficking.
Okay, all right. I'm not all Mormon.
Historically speaking, they're real Muslim about it.
Bro. He is so fucking good. I love it. I fucking love it.
Background, I come from an Irish Catholic background, and the Catholicism in Ireland had a very strong pagan element. It was mixed together in Celtic spirituality. So it wasn't that distant from the land or from the previous experiences. There's very interesting interleavings of the two, and the kind of peasant culture, and I don't use that in a derogatory sense, survives in Ireland, and that was where the gentry, the ascendancy in Ireland, like Yeats's class, understood in the 19th century that there was a vast repository of mythic stories, folklore, and awareness of the other world that had been lost in the rest of Europe. And German scholars understood that in many senses, Ireland was a few hundred years behind other countries. Now, being behind was probably was a better place to be in the context of industrial development. That meant they hadn't lost their contact with an ancient culture going back to the time of the Greeks, etc. And a very ancient culture that was survived and was preserved in the language and the stories and in how people communicated and to each other in practice. So the Catholicism in Ireland was quite different from the centralized Catholicism. And at the time of the fall of the Roman Empire, as we know, there was monastic settlements in Ireland that began to repopulate Christianity or bring it back with Latin and Greek scholarship to the continent. So there was a great interest in Latin scholarship, Greek scholarship. So that meant that if we come to the 9th century, it was Irish scholars, for example, that were translating the ancient Greek texts because there wasn't the knowledge in some other places. So this idea that of a kind of a backward provincial Catholicism that has been portrayed about Ireland is a more recent phenomenon. So those things were there, and growing up, I was quite interested in on my own interests of yoga and other things that weren't popular at the time, but I was very disposed towards the Oriental thinking. But that having been said, if we go back to Erugena, for example, in the 9th century, there's a very Oriental Taoistic feel about his interpretation of what God is and what the connection with nature. And this is something that has been lost in it with a kind of continental centralized idea of Catholicism. So that has been there. I was open to exploring all the other contexts about Buddhism, etc., and had a kind of eclectic interest in a whole range of other religions or aspects. Curious about things like Quakerism, and so I tried to be open to understand the perspectives that can be gleaned from there. So my career was based in law, and when you're working in academia, as you know, it's a full-time job and very demanding. So it's not necessarily a time for spiritual consciousness. I left academia consciously for a number of reasons in relation to concentrate on the family and art was the main thing, because I'd kind of there was a number of disillusioning and disenchanting movements, not least the Iraq War, for example. You know, you're teaching people about the nature of rules, the nature of law, the nature of justice, the idea that we're bound by these principles, and then lo and behold, the country that you're living in can disregard them and on the basis of a fabrication engage the people in a war they didn't want, for example. So that posed serious issues about the nature of international law as it was believed to have been developing at that time. And for a number of reasons, in a number of different contexts, I decided I'm going to concentrate on art, particularly on painting. That was the main objective, with some idea of writing again in the future, although I'd done academic writing. So I was concentrating on the family and concentrating on art and engaged in the artistic world and exploration. I was looking at certain themes. The main theme that interested me in painting was where the figure had gone. That this was the theme that I began to study, and I studied a lot of art, and I began to look at the depiction of the human, and started off on the premise that the nature of modern art was a journey away from the human towards abstraction. And to some extent, what that was a reflection of a deeper movement away from the human being in the general human psyche. So I follow that. Why was the human disappearing in Western art? Now, this is in particular in Western art because the human figure doesn't appear in the same way, say, in Islamic art or Jewish art. It doesn't appear in the same. It's a central aspect of what is Western culture, but it was disappearing, and that led me into, it wasn't so much intellectual as an intuitive exploration. And over a period of time, we had the trip to Australia for a few months, in New Zealand with camping which was good with the family, traveling around, sleeping on the ground for months. That was an interesting experience. Sleeping on the ground is good for your resonance.
Absolutely.
If you like to come into contact with the earth, and I think that also had an influence on a kind of concentration of trends within yourself. So anyway, I began to not thinking about it in a systematic way. It began to become, I had discarded that kind of intellectual approach through the painting, through being out of academia, and I began to notice the intuition, the subconscious, and out of the blue, a line came in a haiku form about a failure of spiritual evolution. So this in certain terms you can call it a locution. It's in some senses it's described as, but where it came from was unclear to me. It seemed to come out of the ether, and I began to reflect on it. So I hadn't been consciously focusing on that issue, although I'm disposed towards that issue. It's appeared to come out as an intervention. There's been a certain failure of spiritual evolution. I began to think about that. I began to pull that thread. I said, well, how significant? What does that mean? So it wasn't from stuff I was reading. It was from somewhere else. And I followed that thread and began to reflect in my own way, without looking at the material and material I would have looked at in the past, or without trying to digest that from my intuition, to build up what I thought was a picture of what I was seeing about the self, the true self, and what that and then I began to test that explanation against what was out there. And so there's two basic propositions. One, there's been a certain failure of spiritual evolution, and we have to evolve, and that is the cause of the problem and the solution to the problem. As the cure for a problem often comes from the place where the problem originates in kind of terms of herbs and that the main problem, the manifestation of the context of the problem, was the threat of technology, the religion of technology. Now,
The real Andrew Tate's about it, historically speaking. You know Andrew Tate, the Muslim human trafficker?
Yeah, I've heard of him. He's
He
a
owns
chess
a-
player.
He owns a tech company in Israel, of all places. Can you believe that? This Muslim guy. What a crazy world. I thought he's a Muslim. So,
Wait, but what did he tell you about Mia Farrow?
so he doesn't look like Woody Allen.
Yes.
That's supposedly Woody's son.
Yes.
Now, we all know that is not Woody's son.
Kind of looks like another entertainer.
It does, doesn't it? It looks like Mia Farrow's father, who happens to be Frank Sinatra, because her mom used to go to orgies in Hollywood. Her mom played Jane in Tarzan, and she'd go monkey fuck at these fucking Frank Sinatra Satan orgies. And so Mia Farrow dated Frank Sinatra. Her mom said, "You cannot date Frank Sinatra," and she did anyway. This is a story he told me, supposedly. And then her mom stopped talking to her. She'd already stolen, I believe, her mom's, or maybe it was before or after. She stole her mom's boyfriend, Andre Previn. The one who Sunyi is named after, who actually was her adopted dad, not Woody Allen.
Whoa.
Now, by the way, don't think Woody Allen's not also. All these people are fucking crazy. Mia Farrow's brother's a pedo, got caught in something. So they're all from like these fucked up kind of satanic families.
Yeah.
They're all satanic rich kids. Now, some of them, I'm not saying all these people know that or they're like, oh, our families, that, but a lot do. And the other ones get sent to fucking Paris Hilton camp to get gaslit, or they get sent to rehab 18 times like Rob Reiner's kid. Ain't nobody going to rehab 18 times because their dad didn't diddle them. That's what I think.
You think they're all getting diddled, basically?
Yo, dude, ever hear this? Remember the Mamas and the Papas?
Yeah.
Mackenzie Phillips came out. She was from One Day at a Time, the sitcom. Her dad, John Phillips, they had a long-term incestuous relationship. In fact, she on her wedding night wrote a book about it. 2007. Went on Larry King and talked about it. At the same time, I didn't know at the time, on Reddit, there's a whole chain of Hollywood kids talking about all the satanic horse shit they had to go through.
No way.
Star Child disappeared. People speculated, but there's no way to confirm it. And I'm not sure. It could be that it was Walter Koenig's son, Boners to Bone, which is why it's called Star Child. Because Star Trek's a pretty fucking satanic thing. Did you know that?
No.
I mean, I play this on Danny Jones already, but Gene Roddenberry talking about his family. You ever seen Gene Roddenberry? Yo, Gene Roddenberry. Fucking, yo, it's all disturbing as shit, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, it could be Bonus to Bone the way it lines up. Who Bonus to Bone was found dead in a park in Canada.
Who is this guy?
From Growing. Oh yeah, no, he was on Growing Pains.
Okay. So
okay, Gene Roddenberry, but the video.
So now, who is this guy? He's the
creator of Star Trek
and a producer.
The creator of an optimistic globalist future in space, like H.G. Wells, that fucking Cecil Rhodes Round Table Illuminati fuck dreamed of. All these pieces of shit that predicted the future. They're not predicting the future. They're close to power. Power has plans for you, and they enact them. And so it looks like this. How did the Simpsons know? They went to Harvard, those assholes. They're around the people who pull the levers of power. Most of you can't fucking read, so that's why you're not aware. The news right now, never mind aliens. Did you know we're losing in Iran? Well, you probably knew. Dude, how many people have no idea how Iran's going?
Yeah. They're like, dude,
or have an opinion on it.
We won. It's over.
Oh, I like to keep saying we won. Oh, yeah. Well, Zoomies, you and your little gender blob friends better start doing push-ups because you're going. You're fucking going. You die face down in the fucking dirt and fucking Targ Island. What's an oil island? You get killed by a balsa wood 20K drone. Yeah, Iran made balsa wood drones that are cheaper and mass producible and blew up. Oh, the USS Lincoln that had a laundry room fire. No, that was around Iran's missiles hitting it. Yeah, we could never. Yo, assholes, we could never win a war with Iran. Who thought that? Why did you think that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Mark, why?
I don't know. I don't know anyone that.
We have never won a war as long as I've been alive.
Yeah.
What is everyone talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, we're the best. Are we? Who's like the worst baseball team? They're better than us. Their score.
They were trying to do another Afghanistan, you know?
Oh, of course.
Oh, no, they were trying to do another Iraq.
And that's why I fucking hate people that always want to, like, the integrity of Europe and the civilization of Europe. Yo, you mean like the place from the 100 Years' War, where they don't have no blacks there. It's all just white people having a war for 100 years that they forgot why they started it. That's the dream these fucks want. They want them days.
Yeah. Send the young men to go do something. What's up, guys? We're going to take a break because I got to give a shout out to Brunt Workwear. All right?
I had studied and taught about the legal side of technology. I taught about competition law, intellectual property law, EC law, areas. I taught about areas that were relevant in the future, if you like. That was what I was interested in my explorations in law. I was always interested in the future. And in fact, my interest in that had come from studying people like Arthur C. Clarke. So from the in particular the 70s, I was interested in what people like Arthur C. Clarke was saying and accepting that to be an accurate statement of what was going to happen, particularly in relation to telecommunications. The thing that I had left to decide was this final proposition that he had: humans would be merger with machines. Now, that didn't register with me because I thought it was so incredible that who in their right mind would want that. That this is what I believe.
And what year was that? that you
that was
started to
in the 70s.
in
He
the
had a
70s,
series
like you
out
said. Okay.
in the 69. So I don't know when I saw it, but I remember following that black and white series, and I remember clearly following that and reading the things and that him coming to that final, agreeing with everything else what made sense about the description of reality, and then come to this issue that this was the destination. So I put that aside. I didn't take that seriously. I really didn't believe that there was people that seriously would want to merge with a machine. So that was perhaps the only bit of the future that I miscalculated at the time. So anyway, in relation to, I said, okay, well, this is a serious thing. This the mysticism and because it was a reality for me, I began to understand. And through, I think, painting and that, your intuition expands. When you do something which is about intuition and you follow it, well, then other internal forces begin to operate. So there is a natural progression of expansion or spiral in mystical development. So I became spirituality was a taboo topic. You could talk about anything, you could advocate anything, but spirit was a dirty word. And this was a remarkable change in a generation. Even though people said, well, I'm religious, not spiritual, talking about the spirit in a real sense became a bit of a taboo thing because they've been working on that. And spiritualized and desupernaturalized in a very specific context became something conscious of how
Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. I glitched like a motherfucker there. Yeah, I got oops connection. Of course I did. Why is it so difficult to talk about very simple things? Oh, nigga. Okay. So why does this happen? I don't understand. Anyway, back.
Devastating it was when people jettisoned their spiritual beliefs, as I'd seen in Ireland in the transformation through the Celtic Tiger era, although I wasn't there. When I left Ireland, it was a different country. So I've seen the way a society can be changed in a radical way, and this loss of spirituality was a big price to pay in my sense, and that's a generalization, but there's a lot in it. So I decided that I'm going to concentrate on this. This is important. It was always important for me, but I didn't feel the need to communicate it. I didn't feel the need to talk about the reality of it. But I'm facing a world then which is rejecting these values in favor of a narrow reductionist materialism. And not only that, but this narrow reductive materialism is an existential threat to humans. And so it's not just transhumanism now, it's post-humanism. And post-humanism is a deep and even crazier concept that a lot of people will not initially accept as a real thing. The idea that we're not going to be humans any longer. And this is the reality. We're coming.
So this is an interview.
Oh, play the video though. You got to hear his voice. You got to hear his voice because he sounds like
he says it on camera.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil his great saying because it really is. Every time I show it to someone, it's really a special. Yeah.
Oh, that one. Yeah, just click.
There you go. Oh, good. It's right at the point.
Would you tell us a little bit about your family?
I've been very fortunate in family. I've had 2 marriages.
Nice man.
Okay.
Both happy.
Seems like good, right?
In my first marriage, I had 2 lovely daughters.
Hiss, though.
2 daughters.
And I had the joy in that marriage of girls.
Okay.
And
bad,
girls are such delicious, sweet-smelling, wonderful things. I can still remember when they would be so clean and their hair done, their starched dresses, and how when they would bend over, the dresses would come up, and you'd see the panties, and it. They're just little girls are just totally beautiful things.
Okay.
And I was happy.
I think we got it,
I was
Gene.
lucky with my girls, in that they never had the problems that sometimes some people seem to
like the Ryer
have
family
with,
had.
Girls. Not that my daughters didn't have their own problems of dating and so on.
Oh,
but,
God.
They would,
all right, well, there you go.
To the end of humanity as we know it. So I don't believe in that direction. So as long as I live, I'm going to defend the human as a spiritual being, and that's the initial thing, and also to emphasize the need for spiritual evolution. That's the starting point, and that's what I'm seeking to do.
No, I appreciate that background. Yeah, that really gives us a good insight into to where you're coming from. Yeah, you mentioned the 1860s and the X Club. You know, I studying Steiner's work really go back to that time period with when Darwinism was coming into play. I think that really Darwinism was what gave these thinkers such as Wells, like you talk about, Russell, really it gave them the ability to look at man differently than maybe had previously been thought of. You know, to look at him as the simple primate who could be reformed, educated, controlled, and that didn't have a higher purpose. You know, specifically Bertrand Russell said that the impact of science on society, he says that there is no such thing as a higher purpose because it didn't make scientific sense to look at man that way. And so how do you think that kind of played an impact on these people who came after, who then...
What?
A lot of creep ass shit around Star Trek now.
What an insane softball question, by the way. It's not like she was like, so tell me about your darkest secret.
Yo, okay, so that your big manly P. Hall book. So If you I
Come
recommend
on, bro.
Windows on the World channel. This British guy Mark Windows I had on who, and this is a free book you can get online called Dissipation of the Darkness. Forget by it too, but I forget who wrote it, but he's dead now. It says in the thing this was written by who's dead now. It's like from 19 fucking I don't know. It's from a long time ago. The dissipation, like dissipate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the secret origin of the Freemasons. Now, I might have dismissed this book had I come across it not knowing all the shit I know now. But Mark Windows made me aware of it on his channel. So it's the story. So Herod Agrippa, remember that guy, the third? He's the one that his grandpa killed all the firstborn in Bethlehem to try to get Jesus.
Right.
These fucking Satan bloodlines, and I'm saying as a catch-all, they're not, they worship Baal and fucking the Marquis of Hell and Arden, Delaware is where they worship the Marquis of Hell. There's supposedly a lot of those, but I don't know which specific one. I'm going to find out from Jay Parker, but fucked up town. So Herod is the one that he dies being eaten from the inside out by worms inside him while he's boasting in the Bible. I think it's in Luke. I can't remember what the scripture is by Herod Agrippa. A good friend of Herod. Oh, he was a good friend of Caligula. He was one of Caligula's like pals.
Wow.
Like Caligula's coke buddies, you could say. I would characterize him as.
No way.
Hardcore sigil magic guy. Found out from Nathaniel Gillis, who my fans call Smart Shane. And I found that out. These are all. I'm just telling you things I pieced together from random because you get the information in little bits, and then okay. So he's the guy that invented the Mason. They weren't called Freemasons yet. I think they're called the Masons. Okay. His group and one of his friends, Hiram.
So one thing about this order of the Mason is there's only one Freemason that can exist at a certain point. So you have King Charles, who's Saxe Coburg Gotha, NATO, United Nations, Strategic Alliance. And then you have a set of individuals that run the corporation. And then you have the free man, the Freemason, the free man. And in this in this amalgamation, you can only have one free king at a time. And that free king gets to do whatever he wants. And you have Charles who runs the corporation. And then you have his brother, which runs the Freemasons, the Kents. So like my kinship is from Kent of England. And that is the stronghold of masonry. And the system is designed as such so that the cousins, along with the powers that be at the time, get to run this flow. So as an example, the free man, the king, who is probably like the Brussels extant and their families, which run like the Baltic Sea and all that, they don't have to fuck a horse. But King Charles, the Saxe Coburg Gothas, they have to fuck a horse. And if you're a queen, you have to get fucked by a horse. And the free king, the Freemason, does not have to fuck a horse, and nor does the queen have to be fucked by a horse. And Epstein had a grip, which is the Rothschilds, because anytime you hear the word Epstein means Rothschilds. It's Epstein equals / equals Rothschilds. So anytime you hear Epstein brought up, that's Rothschilds. And the Rothschilds hold a Mountbatten point of view because they are the males that took over the Rothschilds during the Waterloo shenanigans that were going on with Napoleon. And you remember, Napoleon, his family was knighted by the Vendéens. And the Vendéens, of course, today run the United Nations, the European Union. They are a silk merchant family. And they knighted Napoleon and said, hey, bro, you can be emperor. The Rothschild family is behold. Yeah. So King Charles sits at the head of a table, and that table has round corners. And those round corners, they have seats next to them. And the seats next to them is the male Rothschild. It's Baron Nathan de Rothschild, and he used to date Natalie Portman. And he is the one who used to run all the gangs, or he didn't run all the gangs because he was a child. He is the one who was fronted with Oleg Deripaska, who was running all with the Browns, the Harrimans, the Pelosi's, the Newsoms, and all that. They were running all of the copper and the aluminum out of all that, and that's why you saw that Brown family lawyer lose his fucking shit on Reuters today and all that stuff. Is because it's a magical thing. This is all magic. It's all magic. And as Duncan Trussell explained on Joe Rogan today, the Epstein files, the Rothschild files, are a way to introduce society, people who are conscious of things that are going on, to how the world works. You have royals, you have empire. You have royals, you have the royal court, you have royal court Jews, you have a military function that runs out of the Seine River merchants, the Rhine River merchants, the Dnieper River merchants, the Dnipro River merchants, the Po Valley River merchants, all of these structural systems. And then all of those families, they ended up creating a thing we call today the central bank. And you had the Holy Roman Emperor Francis, who was coincidentally named Pope Francis I, whose royal court Jew made the first central bank of the European system. And we're all getting to experience it right now. And we're all getting to experience the downfall, because what they created out of the World War I and the World War II system, all those borders are unsustainable. They're unsustainable, and they cannot last longer than the 99-year, 100-year system that is promulgated amongst all of us plebeians in the system that Chris Stanley, TJ, and all these other clown-ass individuals have no comprehension of how to understand. So you have someone like TJ who will claim this black propaganda, and you have Chris Stanley, as he accosted me today. He will claim gas prices. And so he is a perfect he is a golem. He is that thing that the Jews made out of clay, which was really just a split personality of sexual trauma to young boys as they were growing up. And you also made sure that you circumcised them. So let's continue.
Abioul, a Buell, who was like killed by like wild dog. Like, you know, back then that's a thing that could happen. Like he was killed by dogs.
Yeah, the dogs got him.
They weren't dog people back then because they would just be killed, you know, or like a lion, you know, shit like that.
Yeah.
So as a tribute to the friend, that's what the Hiram Abiff nonsense is. Hiram Abiff is Hiram Abuel. Oh,
why is it a biff?
Well, just the way Steve Bannon and Epstein came up with QAnon, Herod Agrippa and his 8 friends, they called themselves the 9. That's the part that really sticks out in the book. They were called the 9. Find this book for free online. You ever hear the 9? I bet they've popped up in some of your things you've looked into, haven't they? I know Gene Roddenberry, after the 60 series, before the movie, he was doing seances and contacting the 9. You ever played that fucking shooter game from Destiny or Destiny 2? There's a group called the 9. They're all over science fiction, the 9. If you watch Gaia or other such reliable channels, they will tell you about the 9 here and there from people that channeled the 9. Blavatsky had those 9 I think they're 9, right?
Yeah.
Ascended masters. You mean sigil magic fucks? You mean Babylonian black magic practicing pieces of shit that were friends with Caligula? Okay, so all the shit about Solomon using demons to build the temple, in no Torah setting is that okay. That's some other shit. That's like Babylonian Talmud. That's the more authoritative Talmud's more, I would view it. I didn't even come up with it. Somebody else said it. I saw it in a commentary, but I think it's hilarious. The Talmud's like a fucking, you know, like a chat board. It's a chat thread that got shut down eventually.
Yeah, it was a giant group chat of rabbis.
Yeah, so that's why it looks like 4chan with a lolly and fucking, you know?
Yeah, like one chat and then like another response chat, and then there's like a side chat.
Yeah, it really, I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and most people don't even know what the fuck's in it. The people that study it are like, you know, it gets real weird, dude. It gets real fucking weird. And anyway, that's what the 9, and that's the founders, Freeman, and they came up with it. They called it, I don't remember what they called Christianity because it was spreading so fast, but they didn't like it. I think it spread so fast because it was populism. So people do Caesar's Messiah and try to be like Rome invented the whole myth off of, you know, Apollo and Mithra and all this. And no, I don't think so at all. I think Jesus did have those same similarities, but they were doing human. You know, Charlie Kirk's a human fucking sacrifice assholes. It wasn't a furry that did it. You morons who think that. What are you, stupid? You are stupid. Well, clearly he was a sacrifice. He was a human Twin Towers.
Yeah.
Inside job with Mormies and his fuckbag wife and fucking Israel. Because as you know, he talked Trump out of going to Iran way before. Remember the bombing? Remember Top Gun?
Yeah, and also you got to remember, like the Mormon Mafia essentially controlled the Secret Service ever since the Operations of Strategic Services created Mormonism in the United States through proxy of retardism, early on-stage autism, people who wrote science fiction, which was reality, but they were Am I back? Am I back? Am I back? You know, I think they're messing with me. Well, I'm Team CIA. I'm Team CIA, but this clandestine attitude directed at like obviousness is extremely tiresome now, and we have to move on past political divides. The republic that was made of France somehow made it to us, where we have a left and a right and there's no other side. All that nonsensical drool needs to be replaced with something else, and it's happening right now, by the way. I think that's what this is. And DARPA, you should stop oops connecting me. Stop oops connecting me.
2 bombing run.
Yeah.
That Larry Ellison's fucking weird kid with no eyebrows wrote that script, and we followed it shot for shot.
Wait,
and then Trump said we got their nukes, but we didn't somehow. Oh, they don't even have them.
Yeah.
Fucking anybody believes this shit now. You're such an ass. Anyway,
Hiram Biff.
So Hiram Abul was the guy's name, and they're trying to counteract Christianity spreading. Now, I'm not telling you Christianity is true. I'm telling you I think it was populism. The things that are appealing about Christianity are things that are appealing to poor people, where you don't get fucked up on your identity and your race.
Yeah. It makes so much sense. Why
Christianity is not a racial traditionalist, whatever the fuck these morons that say this shit. That's not what it is. The appeal was the losers, the ones you call cattle if you were rich and snotty, and also me. A lot of the time, I'm probably going to do it several more times on your show with these people. I don't even know who I'm talking to, right? The appeal of it is that everybody is involved in. Why don't you? You know, the whole world is run by Satan is the teaching of Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
So you ever see like these Christians like, oh, could we be in the little season of, you know, they do like Revelation, the little season, or what the fuck are you talking about? The whole world is the devil's. Your country that you think is good and isn't, is part of the devil. And that's, if you are a Christian, that's your lore, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Satan offers it all to Christ. I'll give you the whole world.
I mean, that's my mom's wife. She's like, everything is organized around just, Satan runs the world, so.
But I mean, I'm saying some basic bitch shit that's in the Bible that I'm not even telling you I'm a Christian that believes that.
Yeah.
But I always got to correct Christians with their own fucking lore. Somehow, in this moron fucking country, Christians have been taught they have to worry about the red heifer sacrifice. There's actually fucking imbeciles in Texas, where I live, that are breeding red heifers.
Yeah.
I mean, what a collection of fucking psyoped assholes. Dude, Tim Dillon said that Jake Paul is the red heifer.
They started to talk more about the technology side and the integration with technology.
Yeah. There's a few key jolts in the scenario. The French Revolution is important in relation to part of the movement towards the religion of the human, the religion of science, and Comte and people like that. That certainly influenced thinking. The explorations in electricity, the context in which Mary Shelley writes about Frankenstein, the early part of the 19th century, the definition, the identification of the scientist by Whewell and people like that. And there's a split with Coleridge, where Coleridge is the natural philosophy side of science, and they say no, we're just science. We're not what you guys want to talk about. And of course, Coleridge was in the milieu that Mary Shelley is, and Shelley, her husband, reacts against this kind of scientific world by engaging in the occult world. You know, you have one direction to, you know, you have this trend, which is particularly associated with Protestantism.
What's up, black man? TJ. TJ. Fucking Jew. Swear to God.
Shelley influenced the A. Russell and Yeats and the aristocracy were in a peculiar set. If you look at the origin of horror, for example, it's associated with the aristocracy. It was mainly written from the top down, and the ideas of terror and that were associated with a class that was always in a precarious position. Say, for example, in Ireland, Bram Stoker, Dracula, etc., the Melmoth the Wanderer. A lot of the early horror stuff comes from a class which says, you know, how do we maintain control in the future? And then in the 19th century, not only do we have evolution, but we have a massive immigration into London. We had the consequences of the famine in Ireland. And now I'm not going to get into an alternative history of that, but there is a possible alternative history of that. But we remember that many of the British upper class wanted to eradicate the Irish people. I mean, there's been genocides, genocidal attempts throughout Irish history from the time they came in 1169, the Normans, ostensibly Catholics, of course, don't forget, invading a Catholic nation, you know, because Protestantism didn't come later.
And the reason why that is because it was Mithraism. Most of the Roman motherfuckers who stayed in Britain at the time were all Mithrans. And they could not handle the fact that Egyptian Catholics from like Alexandria and all that, and let's just call them rowboatsmen, you know, people who sailed the seas with the early sails, had made it past them into the Irish lands. So since the 1160s with the Normans, you could honestly argue since the castle culture had started doing what they were doing. The castle culture, am I back? I swear to God, dude, like no one's on my internet right now. The castle culture people made it evident that they wanted to slaughter all of the Irish people. And that shit had lasted from, you could argue, early times of the 960s, 940 era. And you can even go back to where the Egyptians were fleeing, because everyone thinks the Egyptians coming out of Egypt were fucking Egyptian, which is retarded. It was a metropolis area. The cults, the Mithraean cults of Britannia and all that, before the Saxons and all that came in, they had huge problems with the Irish, what would you call them? Wizards at the time, the high priests, the one who ran, you know, they ran the show there. And it was imperative, especially for James I, the homosexual who started the fire departments and the insurance companies. It was imperative for them to fucking demolish all of the Irish heritage, even though the Irish heritage had been usurped by Christendom, which is a travesty in its own, because the Irish have nothing to do with Christ. It's been you say 1,000 years and you're like, oh, that's so long. But in order to enact change, sometimes I think it takes 1,000 years. And you're seeing the age of the Vesica Pisces, which is a vagina, going into the age of Aquarius, which is what we're going into now, which is what Trump is establishing. He's establishing a very simplistic, agrarianistic war tribe, hunter-gatherer principle that was established thousands and thousands of years ago. And so, say, for example, you're China, and for whatever reason you want to establish the Silk Road. So not only are you displacing the original thoughts and idea of the Silk Road, but you're going to replace it with here we go. Am I back? Hi. And you want to replace the system with what is that stupid, like India has their own, or China has their own form of Confucianist. That's what it is. So you want to have this Confucianist idea mixed in with a lot of European laws and admiralty laws that are based on ocean trade. And Donald Trump's family, the MacLeod clan, is a part of a clan of the MacLeods from Scotland and the northern portions of Ireland and Isle of Man. And you have Donald Trump's father, who is part of like the Hessian Holy Roman Empire era. And they were both taken from their homelands and then forced to come to America. And you have this central bank system trying to set up the global system, and they're naming it under an ancient tradition called the Silk Road. Do you fucking think in modern times that the systems and powers that be, even though you've been Mel Gibson, established Australia, they take in all your wineries from you, and they move you, and somehow your child becomes a Hollywood star. Do you think for a minute that the so-called bastards are going to not fight against the system that is trying to create the New World Silk Road? Is that not hard to contemplate? If these families have been around for thousands of years, and then all of a sudden China wants to create a new Silk Road, most of it goes through Iran. It subverts India, it subverts Israel, it subverts the Sinai and Egypt, and it subverts all of the trade routes that are established over the ocean. Where in there are you missing that something is not going to happen? If you're messing like Crimea, like Putin with the whole Crimea thing, and the Genocidians, the Genocidians, they have been trying to get back Crimea and the steppe region that goes into the footlands that go into Russia. They have been trying to get those trade. If Putin's not going to allow that to happen, for certainty, you're not going to have a new Silk Road made. And you are going to have empire fight against these systems. And then, like, I just can't fathom how through all the movies and through all the propaganda, people like Chris Stanley, people like TJ cannot recognize the the obviousness of what's going on. It doesn't make sense to me. It is very obvious that some people are trying to do some things. It is very obvious that some people are trying to stop people from doing some things. Just like you had the deal between India and Israel, because Israel wants to be the greater Israel wants to be a strong, on my back, wants to be a stronghold that holds the Leviathan natural gas field, which is the single pipeline, the sole single pipeline that will provide natural gas to Italy. It's the first in all of history. So the spice must flow. Italy will destroy the world just like in Dune to make sure that natural pipeline, that natural gas pipeline, flows to Italy. They will completely and utterly rearrange all of the Middle East. And they will do it to the ends of the earth. And there's no one that's going to stop them. No one was going to stop the Israelis from the 2,500 year Purim event that happened this year in 2026, where the Persians slaughtered hundreds of thousands of the early Jewish people who created Yiddish. They're not going to turn their backs on that. So Hebrew was a dead language, disappeared for thousands of years, supposedly. And then by proxy, because Hebrews, as you all know, the Semitic people are mafia. They created the Yiddish language. So like, oh, you banned all the Hebrew. Okay, fine. So we create Yiddish. So look at it. See it. It's there. It's clear to see. Every action is televised. Everything that Donald Trump says he's going to do, he's done. And people call him crazy. He's not crazy. This is the way that it is. It's not difficult. It's not hard to discern. Elon Musk always talks about the most simplest and likely outcome is usually the most simply and likely outcome that comes out of a situation. So if mafia runs the cardboard, if they run the natural gas, if they run the copper that hooks all the buildings up, and that's controlled by King Charles, and they control all the insurance companies, which was created by the Saxe-Coburg-Gothas, which are today the royal family of Britain. Won't they burn down churches? Won't they destroy their own thing? Because remember, royalty created insurance companies to pay for their transgressions against each other. So if some Saxe-Coburg-Gotha family member hated his family member in Britain, and they would burn shit down, and they would have all these battles between the fire department of who would put the fires out. So you burn down churches. Who do you think is paying all the insurance claims in Iran right now? If the British Empire knowingly controls all of Iran's oil fields, and Trump has been blowing up all of Iran's oil fields, who's getting the insurance check? It's Britain, King Charles. Charles is getting those insurance checks. When the Vatican burns down their churches, when the Vatican burns down the Notre Dame, who is getting that insurance check? The Vatican. Anything that burns down, when our federal buildings are blown up by Hillary Clinton with not that Columbine shit, but when we blow up a federal building, there is an instance where an individual gets the claim to that insurance check. All those churches burning down in Canada, because Canada is a commonwealth who has a viceroy who is higher than the Prime Minister of Canada, who only answers to King Charles. When all those churches burn down in Canada, who's getting those insurance checks? Well, by golly, could it be King Charles himself? And the person who's sitting in the second chair to him on his left and the right, who are two royal court Jews, Baron Nathan de Rothschild and the other Jewish lady, who's first time in history we have a Jewish chick who sits next to a British royalty. They cash those checks. They cash those checks.
It's imperial colonial enterprise. So this colonial mentality imbues the elite class in Britain. But they understood that the world was changing. There was movement of people with technology. London was bursting at the seams. And we also had things that people forget about that impacted on the psyche, like syphilis, which was devastating. And I think that had a big role in also in relation to this fear of the body when they began to get rid of God, and then they were reduced to the physiological, and then the physiological can go terribly wrong when they saw around them the consequences of disease, and they associate that with the lower classes, and also they had problems with inbreeding in the the aristocracy. So they were also fascinated with breeding, breeding horses, breeding dogs, and how that worked. So evolution fits into an idea of how do we breed better? How does the breeding apply to humans? So you're right that the critical point comes around the 1860. Now, this is very, very interesting because if you look at 1863, 1864 is a hinge period. Some people believe that that's when we started. Then
it's because they were going to those Vienna tea shops. I got in a semantic argument, so to speak, with DG Anthony the other day when I said that the borders of Italy were made after World War I and World War II. And he's like, oh, the borders of Italy were made in the 1860s, 1850s. Yeah. Semantics. You're missing the whole point of the argument. That's less than one generation. The Kingdom of Two Sicilies, the Papal States, the Lombards of northern Italy, which are the southern Alps, the islands off of Italy to the west of Italy are their own echelon. These systems were all designed by Pharaoh, and Pera Pharaoh Dollar, as I'm called on Twitter, is our central banks. They're central bankers. Central bankers. They made the Templars. They made they demolished the Cistercians. They demolished the Hindu Indus Valley culture. They split India. They created Pakistan for the British Empire. Pakistan never existed until about 60, 70 years ago. Pakistan is not even 100 years old. That is a nation cleaved off of India through Churchill, which interestingly enough, Churchill picture was posted by Donald Trump and he showed his reflection in there, which I would say symbolically represents Donald Trump's about to cleave something off, which you could argue might be the Persian Empire, aka Iran. Today, like, I am too autistic to recognize how people like Chris Stanley and TJ don't understand this. I don't understand. I am truly missing what you're missing. What else do you fucking need to see? What else do you need to be shown to recognize this is the way the motherfucking world works? Like Duncan Trussell was saying on Joe Rogan, the whole thing about Epstein was to show you that the Rothschilds, by proxy of King Charles, Queen Elizabeth, control everything, all the way to Hollywood. It was Obama was funded by the dude who tried to kill Mohammed bin Salman, which was his cousin. So what did Mohammed bin in Las Vegas? They tried to kill him in Las Vegas, and that's when we had that Las Vegas event. And what did Mohammed bin Salman do after that? Mohammed bin Salman riled up his entire family and either executed and killed them while he was trying to get them, or he got you and tortured you through Eric Prince, which is Betsy DeVos's sister, who was working for Trump in the first term. So how is it Betsy DeVos, Eric Prince, Blackwater got to torture the person who was taking pictures with Michael Jackson all the time? How does that happen? Well, he tried to kill Mohammed bin Salman on American soil in fucking Las Vegas. And we had that whole incident where they had to shoot up the entire pyramid because the 2 floors above where homie tried to supposedly kill Mohammed bin Salman, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 floors, are wholly and utterly controlled by the Saudi Arabian government. And so what happened after that? Murdered, killed everyone. What happened to Khashoggi, which is part of Zabrinsky's family, whose daughter does this, who's married to Joe Scarborough in the morning for MSNBC. What does he do? Everyone loses their shit because Khashoggi was dismembered and put into a nice little black airline pouch, and they walked out of the embassy with him. Did you see what they tried to do with him? They tried to kill the future emir, emperor, god of the spice of Saudi Arabia on American soil in Las Vegas, which is home to the second or third most esoteric motherfuckers on the planet, the army. What happened after that? Donald Trump got a ancient traditional sword dance that is only, it's a coven. It's only designated to the few and far between. Evident, it's there. You can see it. They tried to kill him in America. This is what we're doing. They cleaned up the whole Las Vegas thing. Magic. Absolute and utter fucking magic.
Identifying modern art in the French context. But there's a number of pointers that suggest that something happened in the etheric domain. Now, Steiner puts it a bit later, but it's not far off that. And if we look at some of the Marian apparitions, we see the idea, La Salette, for example, the idea that there was a unleashing of demons associated with around the year 1863. We can see this idea manifesting in Dostoevsky when he comes to London in the Great Exhibition, and he says this is all about Baal. This is his perception of what this thing was about. It wasn't about progress and technology. He saw a kind of diabolical thing behind this industrial development. So, of course, we get the growth of telecommunications. We get the growth of the understanding already in the 1850s that the sea lanes that Britain had laid around the world would be the basis of a communication network. So it's from that period that the internet comes from. It's not from a recent phenomenon in the United States.
Wow.
And in many senses, if you're looking for a candidate for the Antichrist in accord with Catholic prophecy, you might put it in the system itself, as opposed to an individual, in the system itself would make more sense and actually ties in with some of the ideas. But the key consequence of an evolutionary theory for people like Huxley was that there was going to be a change to agnosticism. Now, this is the thing that people don't understand. What is agnosticism? Well, agnosticism for Huxley, who defines it, is the idea that in order to have a belief, you had to be able to justify it scientifically. And there is no mystical belief, really, that you can justify easily, especially when we're talking about ineffable things which are beyond the measurability, quantifiability. So that was a very high burden. So when people say they're agnostic, I don't think they understand what that means in relation. It means the opposite of knowing things, gnosis, the opposite to gnosis. It's a really devastating position to be in, that you know nothing, unless it's provable by scientific means, and the people that are going to prove or have the facilities are not interested. And they even say, Huxley says, if these spirit things exist, I'm not interested in them. It didn't matter. They're not interested in them. They want to dispirit and desupernaturalize the world. And it's from there that in the 1870s, we get the definition of psychic forces as a response to the eradication of the acceptability of the spirit. So spirit became reduced to spiritualism and communicating with the dead. And then they could set up a straw man, say, look, this is a fraud, this thing. There's no spirits. This was a part of the movement behind it. And psychology came from there, because psychology was the acceptable face of behavioral things, how people behaved.
Olives with Jake Paul's fucking pure heifer blood. Oh, it makes me laugh. But anyway, so, but that's the thing. You can't be a Christian and be in the military or be the president of the United Satan States.
Yeah.
What do people think, that it's compatible? Well, why did you ever think that?
People say that because, I grew up very Catholic, right? And people will be like,
well, the Pope, Catholics, though, you at least, I don't agree with it, but there's a precedent set by a Pope because they had to deal with the fact that Christians aren't supposed to fucking do this shit.
Mm-hmm.
So someone who's a Catholic will tell you, there's a thing called a just war.
Yeah.
Which is, to me, what's those things? It's just an indulgence from the church to the powerful. That's what that is.
Exactly.
It's built in that there's only going to be this many people that are Christians, and that's how rare a Christian is. They're like a unicorn.
Yeah.
They're like a fucking unicorn, dude. They're delightful, but how many do you ever meet? 3?
Yeah, exactly.
I've met 3.
Yeah. People will say, oh man, there's only been one Catholic president. And I'm like, that's kind of a good thing.
One too many, I say. It would have been Charlie Kirk had he not got whacked. Charlie Kirk was Catholic. You know that, right?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was Catholic.
A priest had to come pray over their fucking marriage because they were, when he said don't go to Iran, he was ruining the trajectory of that fathead bitch being the first lady. She's just there to be his handler. He's been a chump from the start, that poor fucker. And the second he starts exercising a little bit of free will, daring to call Gaza an ethnic cleansing, which I got to say, a lot of balls on his part because they killed him for it. That's why Ben Shapiro has to freak out that the traditional form of Wolfowitz doctrine, neocon fucking bullshit is everybody's sick of it because they're sick of their dicks blown off for no reason. Like a goddamn Shabbos goy. Remember they go, Trump called soldiers chumps. Well, aren't you? Oh, they were defending your freedom? Why do I have less freedom now? Did you ask that question?
Yeah.
You personal injury, lost friends, limbs, right? Or your life to fight for my freedom. And I have less freedom now. Is that dawning on anyone? I feel like a chump. You don't feel like a chump?
Yeah. We killed 1 million Iraqis, and they're still looking at our emails. They're still surveilling us at all
I'm
times.
so haunted by the guys that went over there and got their dicks blown off week 1 because they didn't know to sit on the helmet yet. That's a real fucking thing. And when I see a piece of shit like General Petraeus sitting down with the head of ISIS and that's the president of Syria.
False Jesus doesn't want me to say all this.
Fucking council like I did. And they'll go, well, they won the war. That's weird. Why is a Ukrainian Jew in the Atlantic Council telling me it's cool that the guy from ISIS, oh, they won the war, so I guess they should take over? That's a strange thing to say. Vlad Davidson, the fucking dipshit that they pulled the fucking, it was Lev's podcast, Break the Rules, that he brings this little fucking dwarf sack of shit on who's telling me we need to keep paying for both. Yeah.
You asked him about this?
No, they told me to talk about the Epstein files, but it was some kind of weird ambush debate thing because of Dave Smith. I don't give a fuck. Dave Smith is a focal point of a lot of these people. Give it up. Yo, it's over, motherfuckers. That shit's over.
So,
Israel knows it's over. That's why they're going to squeeze every last bit they can out of U.S., and then they're going to become a superpower. I'm sure Professor
this is the world, bruh.
Zhang thinks this as well. I'm sure he does. And he's right. They're going to go, we're going to be the superpower of the Middle East. We can't, America's too unreliable. It's too messy.
That's what he said. I forget which episode he said it.
We're going to have to be our own golem now.
Yeah.
So, anyway, they all think that you should the forever war. It just enriches. It's always some son of some fucking piece of shit gangster from one of these ex-Soviet countries. You know, when the Soviet Union fell, do you think it was good for the people that lived there? It wasn't. A bunch of fuckbag oligarchs stole all their shit.
Yeah.
Until Putin
rounded them up, said, "Hey,"
and said, "Give the fucking." So that's why they say Putin is a dictator, not because anything he does to it. He jails less people for tweets than all of the West, right? UK has people in jail for tweets right now for tweets.
Yeah.
Just don't talk about China. You fuck. What the fuck you talk? Yo, they don't. Anyway, he put people in jail. They put people in jail for tweets. Putin shook down the oligarchs that robbed the country. What if I thought Trump was going to do something akin to that? I didn't know he was going to bend over immediately. Boy, they got something bad on him, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it is funny because like people look at Russia and they'll be like, "Oh man, like this guy fell out of a window." Sure, he did.
Any real whistle?
So there is a few things that Kurt Metzger is missing, and I hope he is able to put the puzzle pieces together because it's not Trump. If Trump wasn't here, regardless, it would have happened. And so there is a way that the world works, and you are experiencing it firsthand with the largest amount of propaganda imaginable, but you no longer have news stations like CNN or NBC or anything like that. That era is over, and Kurt is missing the trains that are going by right now, which is hilarious because that's the railroad mafia. He is missing a couple slices of the pie in respect to how Empire does its thing. The interview, so to speak, for Donald Trump was him doing The Apprentice. If you want to be that casual about it. Empire finds their best people in military families, incest families, trauma families, and you hopefully one day will recognize the infallible system that the world is placed under. And Trump wanted to be that showman at the time. He wanted to create the Arch de la Soul. He's the new emperor, wearing the gold mask. I literally think the whole Epstein thing was to hopefully introduce individuals on a massive scale to recognize how the world really works, and that the news and the gas prices and all of that is really circumstantial, is a dot on the spreadsheet of all of the actions that they're taking to dominate this world. And it's really just Dune. The world is Dune. The spice must flow. And for America, for the world, the spice is oil. The emulsification of sediment in subduction zones as it gets churned and liquefied every day on the earth. The spice must flow, and the worms are the oil rigs that suck the oil out of the earth, producing the commerce, which is spice, which allows people to travel and do things and all that magical stuff. YouTube is designed to make people like Chris Stanley and TJ recognize reality. And the more that you fight against it, the more you look retarded and out of place and conspiratorial. And it's a shame. And the rest of the world needs to wake up to the reality of this earth. It's ran by, as Putin put it, less than 20,000 people. And you got to deal with it, right? You got to deal with it, I think, right? You got to deal with it.
Whistleblower generally has to move to Russia. So Snowden, the hero Snowden,
Yeah.
the only hero at the NSA, the only guy who did the right thing at the fucking piece of shit NSA.
He's hiding out in Moscow.
It's illegal to spy on us, you fucking scumbag, compartmentalized fucks. Fuck you. Fuck you for your service. You fuck. The heroes live in Russia now. They had to flee because they told you. And what did this shitbag population do? Oh, they're jerks. South Park couldn't even get it right, could they? They're like Cartmans, basically. He's like a Cartman, this Snowden. No, he's a hero. You fucking cattle. But now, I don't want to know what they're doing to me behind my back. I'm Dottie Sandusky. Jerry Sandusky's bringing freedom to those boys in the basement. Dottie stays upstairs. That's just Disney adults. That's what America is. Fucking Disney adults. The lowest, barely above a furry.
But now people are going to say you're on Russia's payroll.
Oh, please pay me, Russia. I would be delighted. I'd like Qatari money as well. And I'd like to play Riyadh Festival and personally apologize to MBS for America.
Well, MBS...
Those are my goals for the next year. Riyadh Comedy Festival, and where it's just, and I'm not even gonna have good material. I'm gonna say, I just want to say how sorry I am for America being such a fucking bad friend. You helped us do 9/11 on our own people. Okay, you didn't have to do that, but we knew it was necessary to make people accept taking their shoes off at the airport.
Bro, you want to know a hilarious thing? In Saudi, the Osama bin Laden family, the bin Ladens, they were a construction family that was building buildings.
Osama's
all the
probably
time.
a John Hinckley Jr. Sirhan. That's what I think.
Wait, you think he's related to him?
No, I think he's another wind-up toy puppet.
But the bin Laden...
Yeah, and what's hilarious is, do you know who always comes on Steve Bannon's show? The guy who owns the right to Seinfeld. Noir bin Laden. Why is Noir bin Laden always on Steve Bannon's show? He used to work for Goldman Sachs. He used to hold the folder for the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the Navy from meeting to meeting. How is that possible? The bin Laden family was raised and trained by British people. Osama bin Laden went to a British college school, and Osama bin Laden was building roads in Nigeria, building roads in Kuwait. He had all of the materials. So, like, in America, we build highways like it's nothing. In these Arab states, building a highway is like building your own mini Silk Road. And bin Laden, a construction family, a road family, a rebar family, a family who built buildings that fell down on purpose, kind of like 9/11. Ironically, he was pissed off at all of the British and the Frenchies because they wouldn't let the bin Laden family, who made buildings that fell down like 9/11, and made shitty highways in African countries, they wouldn't let him fight Iran. Why wouldn't they let him fight Iran? Maybe because it just wasn't the time. And you remember at that time, Iraq was fighting Iran. My dad went to the Gulf War on the USS Halliburton, which is a destroyer, which sent a little bit of pew-pews in that strait. And there's a lot of drama. And then the British families, the central banks, were pretty much through with the Osama bin Laden family because the Manchurian candidate that they had raised had come to his prominence. And then what happens?
Bin Laden family used to do all this construction, and then they stopped working with them. Like, the government and the people stopped working with the bin Ladens. But it wasn't because of 9/11.
Of course not.
It was because their buildings kept falling down.
Yeah, well, usually how a
like-
child from a rich family gets put in this fucking thing, Monarch and there's stuff akin to it. That's all. It's not just a
They got
CIA
nepoed.
thing.
It was nepoed. It was a little nepotism.
Yeah, Nepo ain't.
There are pictures. You know how we always in the early 2000s, we were raised to see Osama bin Laden as this turban wearing, blanket wearing motherfucker. But in his college years, he was wearing pants with flowers on them, and they were bell bottoms. There are pictures of Osama bin Laden and his family members dressed in British clothing in front of like the Volkswagen bus, taking family pictures. And then somehow we're supposed to believe someone who didn't dress like that. He did not dress like a Middle Eastern. He's going to do 9/11 with pilots that had connections to Israel, and all those Florida airports were. It's too good to be true. It's a movie. It's a movie. You know, I think the Obama thing was so bad they weren't able to make a proper movie about it because they couldn't get the true propaganda right. So, you know, he had Mark Wahlberg do that propaganda film from the oil rigs that had exploded during Obama's term. But if you look at the oil rig pictures before it exploded, there's holes in the metal. And how do you degrade the metal so much so as respect to what had happened in 9/11? It's a mystery. You got to be conspiratorial at that point. And, you know, what's so funny about, you know, just a side note, what's so funny about British Petroleum is the man that was running British Petroleum went to college in those private high schools with Nathan Rothschild, who dated Natalie Portman. And you remember him begging and begging on television that he just wants to go back to his old life. So you have Baron Nathan de Rothschild, who wasn't a baron at the time because his great grandfather, great nephew, or whatever, his great uncle was Jacob Rothschild, which was a royal court Jew for Queen Elizabeth before King Charles became king. How are all the people involved with the British oil spill during the Obama era all tied to the private school and the college that the Rothschilds went to? And you got Epstein, which is the Rothschilds. We got Clinton, which is the Rothschilds. You have a Rothschild diary written by like Linda, not the modern Linda Rothschild, but like some other De Rothschild. In the 1600s, she was in her personal diaries. She was talking about her fanatical relationship with the Clinton family. And the Clintons, you say? Who are the Clintons? It's so weird. And then you hear about him talking about Paris Hilton and the Hilton family, which is tied to hotels. And you know about the Council on Foreign Relations. The Council on Foreign Relations is in the Pratt House. And the Pratt House is owned by Mitt Romney. And which Mormon family, the Romney family, the Huntsman family, by proxies, the Ryans. What hotel do they run? And you got the Schiffs, the Peter Schiffs, the Adam Schiffs. The Schiff family is the personal bookkeepers for the Rothschilds. And they just so happen to be the third family that ran the Boy Scouts. So you have the Schiff family, who was the third or the fourth family that controlled the Boy Scouts, who at the time were the personal bookkeepers for the Rothschilds. And then you have the Mormon Mafia family, who were established through the Operations and Strategic Services, who ended up, they control Utah, the Seven Nation Army, Utah. I mean, doom, 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 doom. Gas prices. I'm scared of gas prices. Gas prices are so high. I'm going to be angry at it. Gas prices.
As good a thing as you think it is, it turns out, for a lot of people. Ask Rob Reiner's kid. Yo, put on Rob Reiner's son, kiss on the lips. Rob Reiner, Carl Reiner, kiss on the mouth. Look at the plethora of photos, and you tell me if you think there's a fucking problem that might lead you to stabbing your dad. You look at it, okay? Maybe I'm being silly.
You mentioned this on Danny Jones's pod, and I saw the pictures, and I was like, "There's no way they're that weird," you know?
Well, it's not AI. That's what they did. Multiple pictures, every event. Oh, Brady fly kisses. Tom Brady kiss. It's like a butterfly kiss, but your dad kissing your adult mouth.
Yeah, that's a
real mamas and the papas thing here. Oh, look, you ever kiss your dad that way, where he holds his hand on the back of your head, Mark?
No.
Give Papa a kiss, Mark.
I don't know. But did
I don't know about what, if that's cool. Well,
yeah,
my dad never kissed me on the mouth because he was toxic masculinity. You know?
Did he do this with? Oh, yep. Okay, that's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, in this house, in this fucking Sabbatean Frankist fucking house, we do weird incest
You
shit.
think that's not AI, right?
No, why does it? Look, this is not a UFO I'm showing you. This is established.
But it's as weird. Like, it's easier to believe a UFO.
Okay, it's weird now that he stabbed his father to death. Now, looking back now, yeah, I guess it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But at the time, was an article like bizarre display from Reiner family at live event in front of everyone? No.
I'm shocked that no one would be like, oh, that's kind of like, we give Tom Brady so much shit.
We just found out our leaders eat kids, and me and one black guy at the airport care. Right? Why are you shocked? It's called mind control. This is worse than North Korea, the propaganda. Okay, maybe you have more stuff that is probably killing you too. By the way, North Korea is bad because their lights are off at night.
Yeah,
the way it should be.
Yeah, but now everyone's like, I do low light so I can sleep, my circadian rhythm. I'm
what are you, a communist?
You're trying to put yourself in North Korea.
Yeah, but remember, that's how they'd show you how bad North Korea is.
Yeah.
Christopher Hitchens loved to point that out. It's like, if you see the map, South Korea's all lit up all night. North Korea's pitch black. Oh no, and they're probably getting healthy sleep now with no blue light, and their kids aren't transitioning from fucking watching cartoons.
They have no McDonald's though.
South Korea is North Korea with lights, and I would rather live in North Korea than be in a South Korean boy band any day of the week. And any stupid, and I know there's got to be I don't know how hipster it is still around here, but all these these fucking hyper lit shit lib fucking millennial Zoomer twats that all fucking love K-pop.
Yeah, Risey Lee.
That's their love of fascism. That's a liberal woman's deep love of fascism right there. Because K-pop's fucking despicable. It's torture of children is what it is. The people that are in it what a terrible life they lead. What a horrendous life.
Like how they get these kids like
and you'll
14.
get lectured by some dingbat broad about this that who loves K-pop, and they're a K-pop stan, right? I mean, everybody could really just suck my dick. I know that came out wrong. All right.
So if we look in London, the area around Russell Square, the British Museum, became the center of psychology. It became the center of where places like the Tavistock Clinic came from.
Tavistock.
Jung would come to. that had an important influence. Even
Carl
people like
Jung.
Samuel Beckett went over in the 30s and had a psychoanalyst. Analysis himself influenced him. This was the area where Galton was with his ideas of eugenics. They were all mixed. They all became mixed. So what we had was a shift from the idea that the human was a spiritual being created in the image of God to a reductive behavioral idea of the human as an animal in various stages of evolution. So, for example, a lot of people think this idea of the connection between humans and apes was associated with skin color, and that the Irish were regarded as low down. So they were regarded as closer to apes, and they were depicted up till the 80s in British newspapers in that form. So this is a thing that I'm not prepared to have denied about the treatment of the Irish in this context, and the misconstruction recently of the historical evidence about what this was about. So, and this was where racism came from. This was where the classification of the races came from, where ordinary people that heard what the scientists said believed that certain races were inferior to others because the scientists said so. And so scientific racism in Europe was very, very important. And we had loads of things about the nature of the mind and the nature of the skull and the significance of the skull, which redefined the conceptions of who we are. So what happens over a generation, in my view, is that we have a shift towards total behaviorism. We say the human is something that can be controlled. And with the anti-colonial struggles and culminating in the 1920s, we had this view. The empire had to change from people like Wells, and that was a student, of course, of Huxley. The empire had to change, and the empire was going to shift from a primarily military operation towards a public-private, corporate, transnational system of regulation, which was ultimately aimed at controlling human consciousness, which manifested or was articulated in Churchill's speech in 1943 about the future empire was an empire of the mind. So they're telling you, and if you look at this thread throughout science in Britain, from there in the 30s, 40s, it was how could they control the human mind and physiology? And it's still ongoing. Still, yesterday or today, when Elon Musk's announced that they've got this thing in the body and it's working on humans, it's not from America. It's from there. You cannot understand that American experience without understanding this Victorian experience. And in fact, they have more control over these things than in the United States people believe. So there are good books written recently, like Control Oligarchy, about the United States. But they, as far as I understand, a lot of their analysis failed to understand that what happened in the United States with the corporate giants, the Gilded Age, was a direct manifestation of the power of London in relation to the control of intelligence. Of course, this goes back to the Elizabethan times, the British Empire, the nature of intelligence, the control of intelligence, the occult interest that the empire had. And they were masters at it. And they were masters at using small resources to control a large amount of people, mainly from the Norman background, from the French background imposed on Britain. So the result of this is that the human becomes dispirited. Their spirit is not recognized. But there's a twist on that. A lot of people, there is a band of people in that who do actually believe in the spirit, within that, who don't dismiss the spirit. They're not materialists as well, but they want to control other people's spirit. So there's a lot of interest in the occult and a different conception. They're saying, well, actually, the spirit does exist, but it's going to be our perception of the spirit. It's not going to have these limitations on behavior or rules that will stop us doing things. So that's another dimension to it. But a deep materialism influence and caught hold. So if we look at science in the 20th century, in the 30s in Britain, crystallography, a lot of the evolution theories, Haldane, Huxley, they were deep materialists, and they believed in materialism in a deep way because they had burned their bridges with any perception of the spiritual.
Yeah, absolutely.
Indeed. All right, I'm going to bed. I'm hitting the end stream. I'll go over this more later. I'm getting a headache.